Slavery refers to a condition in which individuals are owned by others, who control where they live and what they work. Most slave labor was used in plaiting, cultivating, and harvesting cotton. On a typical plantation, slaves worked 10 or more hours a day, 6 days a week. Slaves can be held from the time of their capture, purchase, or birth, and deprived of the right to leave, to refuse to work, or to demand. Slaves were treated as property. Slavery in America began when the first African slaves were brought to the North America colony of Jamestown, Virginia, in 1619.
Who are those children all dressed in white?
Most slaves lived on large farms or small plantations. Many masters owned less than 50 slaves. Slave owners sought to make their slaves completely dependent on them, and a system of restrictive codes governed life among slaves. They were prohibited from learning to read and write, and their behavior and movement was restricted. Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred Taylor. As mentioned in the book, page 90, Big Ma tells her grandchildren about her husband. Born into slavery he was. 2 years for freedom come, and him and his mama stayed on at that plantation after the fighting was finished. But then when he got to be 14 and his mama died, he left that place and worked his way across here up to Vicksburg. Your great-grandparents were born in Africa, and when they came, there were some white people who thought that it was wrong for any people to be slaves. So the people who needed slaves to work in their fields and the people who were making money bringing slaves from Africa preached that black people weren't really people like white people were. So slavery was all right. And after a while, slavery became so profitable to people who had slaves and even those who didn't, that most folks decided to believe that black people really weren't people like everybody else. Mary Logan's School Lesson Plan Over Slavery, page 183. Her lesson for the day was slavery. She spoke on the cruelty of it, of the rich economic cycle it generated as slaves produced the raw products for the factories of the North and Europe. How the country profited and grew from the free labor of a people still not free. Slavery in this country didn't officially end until December 6, 1865, the day that the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified. It didn't end on January 1, 1863, when President Abraham Lincoln issued his Emancipation Proclamation. So let's give a thanks to the end of slavery and our freedom, because without it, we probably wouldn't be enjoying Beyonce's beautiful voice or Kanye West, beautiful mixed babies, Miss Oprah Winfrey, Bad Girl Riri, and of course a bunch of other meaningful things. Oh, and Kevin Hart.